A car with a track mode and a dog mode. It's like they made a car for Kyle Connor. Hello and welcome to the beautiful hills here in Malibu, California, and welcome to a Tesla Model S Plaid. Now, I don't think I need to explain to you what this car is. We've driven it together, but it's been about 6 months since we've driven a Plaid together. There have been some awesome updates, and this one's actually modified in some interesting ways that I think will really improve the car for me. So let's do a little bit of an update to my Plaid review that I shot 6 months ago. If you haven't watched that, I shot a driving review. I'll link to it in the description with my friend Brandon from Tesla Flex, his Tesla Model S Plaid. Now I have my friend Ryan's Model S Plaid, and it has a round steering wheel that can do some pretty cool things beyond just it being a round steering wheel. So let's go for a drive, see what track mode does up here on these amazing canyon roads, and have a good day. Perfect weather, perfect day. Doesn't get any better than this. Well, with the ocean in the background on one of my favorite roads, we actually drove the Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo before it came out. This was a pre-production prototype right here on this road. Love this place, very special. We have now a Model S Plaid. Now, it's no secret I am a Tesla Model S fan. I think it is one of the best looking cars on sale, bar none. I think it's the best looking electric car and has been since it launched. I've also owned a previous generation Model S P100D with ludicrous mode and loved that car in the exact same configuration as this. Black exterior, white interior. In my opinion, the way a Model S should be optioned. Really nice glass roof. I do miss the sunroof option. Of course, you have the screen in the back, screen in the front with that round steering wheel. Hell yeah. And stalks. I'm going to explain how that all works. It's all pretty sweet. I just love this thing. Of course, you get a massive trunk in this. You get a massive front trunk. You get over 1,000 horsepower. I was driving this just on the way over here through, the traffic in Santa Monica up through Malibu and nailed it. And it just roasts all 4 tires. It just cannot get traction. And I'm like, oh my God, I love a tactile sports car, something lightweight that you have to work to get it to move, like a Miata or like an older Porsche. That's my true jam. But you can't deny just matting the throttle in this thing and having an absolute neck-snapping experience. And that's just really fun. I don't know why anyone wouldn't like that. This is the ultimate muscle car. And that theme of being the ultimate muscle car really carried through to when I drove this car for the first time. You can see a Plaid. And I was like, it's great. It's got all the space. It's got tons of range. It can charge at 250 kilowatts. It does the stuff. It's got the best app integration of any car on sale. It's got the best charging network. It's all good, but it could not go around a corner. And, at higher speeds, maybe that's where this car shines because it's quite heavy. If you get a lot of grip on it, you can put lateral load. But on roads that I like to drive, like this one right here, they're really tight. You're working with inches of space between the mustard and the mayo, as I say. And, for me, the Plaid with the yoke steering wheel and without track mode couldn't get the power down. You would floor it and it would just say, nope, not giving you any power. And then, you would get straight on the wheel, and as soon as your wheel was straight, it would unlock and go. And it's very much like SUVs have this rollover protection. Like if you drive a G-Wagon in a corner, it limits everything until you're straight on the wheel. The Model X is the same way. And I thought that to be so disappointing from a performance standpoint because you have a front motor and then 2 rear motors that can actually do individual torque vectoring in theory. And I never experienced that. So now track mode is here. Not only do you get extra regen in track mode, everyone's talked about the brakes. Yes, the brakes aren't good. And they're really not good on this one. I'll explain why. So you get 200 kilowatts regen off throttle. And of course, lower states of charge where it can accept that. And we should, in theory, be able to have some movement in the car. It should give me power when I want it. It should help with cooling. I'm really looking forward to trying all of this. But take a look in here. This is the real story. This looks totally factory, and because partly it is, it's basically a Model 3 or Model Y setup right here in a Plaid, and I think it's truly wonderful, because now you get to have the good steering wheel out of the Model 3. It's a nice wheel. I actually prefer it to the older Model S wheel, which was always a little bit too large. You get turn signals that work. See, hit the turn signal. There it is flashing, very nice. Everything works as designed, but even more functionality. So let me get the cameras in this thing. Let me show you everything that the wheel can do, and then let's go drive it with some of the updates. Of course, it's got the double pane glass, but now it actually has active noise cancellation active. I want to see how it sounds in comparison to when I drove the Plaid for the last time. And that's the thing with Teslas, is they usually ship a product before completion and then update it through software over time. And let's see if it's gotten better. I don't think it could get any worse than it did on a back road before, so I think it's only going to get better. So let's play around with it. The sponsor of today's video is back. It's Masterworks. We love working with Masterworks because it's a service that's truly incredible. Imagine if I told you that the common man like you and me could invest in contemporary art pieces painted by the likes of Picasso and Monet, pieces that were so incredibly expensive we would never be able to afford to buy them. Well, Masterworks is an incredible online service that actually buys these very large, expensive art pieces and allows you and me to invest in a portion of them. Masterworks uses over 60,000 data points to find financially attractive works of art, buy them, and let you invest in shares representing and investing in that painting. So hedge against inflation in these uncertain times, just like we have to dodge cars right there, and invest in contemporary art. Using the link down in our description below, you can actually skip the line and get investing today using Masterworks. Thanks again to them for sponsoring today's video. Let's go put this thing in track mode and see how well it shreds. So first off, everything operates normally. Foot on the brake, starts up. Fans go crazy. Let me turn those down. Can I just say how much I love this particular spec on Model S? White seats, black exterior. I'd get some nice Martian MW05, big boy, meaty wheels on it. Wow. Okay. Love it. Love it. All right. Round steering wheel. Love it. It's so much better than the yoke. Now, I am not like a yoke hater. My issue isn't with the operation around town. I'm good with all that. My issue with the yoke personally is I drive pretty hard, go to track days, drift around, be an idiot, right? So what I like to have is when I'm sliding in a $130,000 luxury sedan, I'd like to be able to grab the wheel at any point to hold the car. And with the yoke, I've always thought it was very awkward, too awkward, to actually grab the car while sliding. Now, the yoke, the Tesla Model S Plaid that I drove 6 months ago now, I think it was, Brandon's car, which he has since sold, he has a Model X with a yoke. I've also reviewed his car on this channel. That car didn't have track mode, and I was like, they didn't put track mode in this thing because that would be ludicrous to have something you couldn't slide around with a drift mode. And then they gave it to the car anyway. So I'm just like, whoa, crazy. So basically, the first time that you use the input here, you heard it go beep, beep, beep. It sends like this weird signal. My friend Ryan created all of this. And then my other friend Josh did a whole bunch of the electronics part, which is really cool. It basically fools the car into emulating the PRND to kick on and then to essentially fool it. I don't really understand how all this stuff works. It's not my forte. I'm not a software engineer, right? But I'll show you at least what you can do. You can use the stock, put it in drive, put it in reverse, put it in neutral. Can you do neutral? No, neutral doesn't seem to work. What if I go drive? So neutral doesn't work here, but park does. So that's interesting. Turn signals, left, right turn signal, that all works normally. However, you have to cancel them in the same direction you turn them on. The way Ryan programmed this is so when you click it to the point of resistance, they just stay on all the time, and then you click it to turn it off. It doesn't do the triple click situation, which is actually how I think I would prefer it, because I like to just control that perfectly. But he said you could program this through software to just do a triple click. Okay, then the volume works up and down as normal. Track left and right works. Autopilot, you can also push in with the right scroll wheel like you would have to in the normal yoke wheel, but you can also pull down on this stalk just like a Model 3, and that will put autopilot on. Fascinating. Then comes some really cool stuff. He's programmed it so that if you, under 5 miles an hour, push the high beams on, like you're turning auto high beams on, it actually cycles through your home link and it can open up your garage. So you just pull up and push that away from you, and now your garage door opens. It's really fascinating. And then the coolest, the most impressive thing to me actually is this one right here. I'm going to pull up the suspension menu so you can hopefully see, but your angle maybe you can't. If I hold the right scroll wheel to the left and I go up, now the suspension will raise to max, and you can see we're going up. And if I hold the right scroll wheel to the left and push in, it will go to medium, and now you can see we're lowering back down to medium. And then if I hold that same thing and I go down, it will slam us into sporty mode. But since we're kind of off-road, I'm going to go back to very high. And the other thing Ryan did was, normally after you go very high, you go above 15 miles an hour, it'll go to high. This, as soon as you dip back under 15 miles an hour, will raise itself back up to high. It'll keep trying to go to the max until you get it out of this mode. And all of this is customizable. Now you're all going to probably ask, where can you buy this? How do you do it? I have no idea. I don't have any answers. I don't think Ryan's selling them or doing anything. He's just modified this car because he's awesome. This is the same Ryan that we also used his Rivian R1T out on that dry lake bed when we shot that with the Taycan. And so now he was like, oh, thank you so much for getting my truck disgustingly dirty. Why don't you take my Plaid out? Just a true legend of an individual. What I want to do is drive the car in stock form first, just to see what some of the updates have felt like over time. And then I want to put it into track mode once we're driving. Let me just customize track mode. You know, I think my new settings, just so if I do want to switch it, we can kind of have this as a head start. So handling balance, I think we'll go 75 rear, 25 front. Stability, don't want any of that. And max regen. We also have post-drive cooling on. I don't think we'll need it. Brake temperatures, interestingly, show brake temperature display and warnings. That one I've never seen. And save dash cam for laps, no, because we're not lapping. So we have everything maxed out. I just used the stock. Again, the first time you use it for a drive cycle, it gives you the beep, beep, beep. Other than that, then it's totally normal. And again, this is not Tesla factory. This is all done just because Ryan's a software genius. So let's pull out of here. I got the suspension maxed out. See how nice that is? And now I don't have to go 5 menus deep. I can just go like that. And let me just double check that it got that command, because I don't know. This is my first time doing all of this. Suspension low. That's amazing. That's so useful just right there. I'm not even joking. The other thing is, I think I have the damping set to sport. So we have everything in like the sportiest settings we can do right now, but the car is factory stock. We are on the PS4 all-season tires, which are like, okay, but not incredible. And we're going downhill. So downhill's fine. I mean, the car feels good, but I just have this extra sense of reassurance with this round wheel. Rock in the road, we want to be careful. I have sort of destroyed a car on this road due to a rock, and I want to apologize to my friend Calvin about that. That happened to, yeah, that was not great. Hit one of the rock slide, came down and popped a tire and hurt a suspension component. Things happen. So we're just going to be extra mindful of debris. Wow, as we're just heading straight down into the ocean. So the Plaid feels the same on the downhill. Agile for a big luxury sedan. Yeah, pretty good. Maybe a little bit too stiff on the damper. Maybe not enough room for it to work when you have it all loaded up. Probably better for a smoother surface, but still unbelievably well sorted for a luxury sedan. And I've always had pretty much no issue with the Model S chassis components, and I've always said it feels pretty good. What I am noticing though is I'm throwing it into corners with so much more confidence than I would with a yoke. And my hand placement's kind of where I want it, so I can just go right into this corner. I know if anything happens, I can grab a wheel and put some lock in it. It's the way it should be. You know, I think I've come to the conclusion where I wasn't so against the yoke from a usability perspective, like I mentioned, and I was like, okay, can get used to it, and you know, that's fine for daily driving. But I would never want to have that as a performance, you know, it doesn't increase the performance of the car, let's just say it that way, and it would make me go so much slower and be so much more conservative. So now let's run on the way up, and this is where I'm really curious how the stock car feels, and then I'm thinking we do the same thing in track mode and see if it can help us get some power down, which has been the issue before. All right, same settings on the way up. Power is insane, standing on the brakes. All right, here's where, okay, I can do things with a wheel and I'm full power, and then when I go straight, then it goes. But even little corners, I can feel it holding back on the power output. Okay, it's just a monster, this thing. Look, floored, no power, I'm still floored, then straight, boom, I was floored the whole time. So that's just incredibly frustrating. Okay, now we need to flip around. I want to see if track mode, obviously we can't stay floored the whole time in track mode, I hope. I want to see if we can get any sense of rear axle torque vectoring, any sense of anything happening that will help us a lot. So let's just 3-point turn. Look at that, so nice, using stalks. A flip and a flip and a flip. Okay, let's go here, pedals and steering, park, track mode, yes. Okay, we got it in my Kyle setting. Cooling's active. It says conditioning for peak performance. It gives me all the cool data here on the screen. It shows everything's green in terms of temperature. So let's pull out here. Let's make sure the suspension's lowest. Love that I can just do that. Let's see if we feel a difference with regen. So lifting off. Whoa, big increase in regen. So much better. So here's the thing. Because these cars seem to have pretty good thermal longevity, especially for back road driving, maybe not for like a hardcore track use, I'm not even touching physical brakes right now, and it's slowing down hardcore. We're at 55%, which is perfect because I can really stuff a lot of energy into the battery. And so the extra regen alone on a back road in this track setting is worth every bit of everything. Also, being able to just grab a lock on a wheel like that is wonderful, and everything feels so much better. This is like legitimately a car now that you can go out and shred, if you will. Wow, the regen feels so much more than even Model 3 in regen in track mode. Whoa, very nice, very nice. All right, let's wait for some people to clear out traffic-wise, and then we'll shoot back up. Okay, it's weird, it's giving me all the autopilot line stuff even in track mode. In the Model 3, that gets turned off. So I'm really loving that. By the way, I do just want to comment on the noise. For sure quieter with the active noise cancellation. Big difference, I would say. So now we're not on a track, so I don't expect to be sliding around or anything. I don't have it in any kind of drift mode. I just have it in, you know, 75% of the power more towards the rear. So big power. Whoa, spinning tires, but staying in it. I can feel the tires going and literally leaving skid marks, but the car's not cutting everything. Wow, but you need to have a lot of respect for this car, because this is one hell of a machine. So here we go, coming out of this corner, power, yes, that's what we want. And there's a bicyclist here. I'm not going to pass him on a blind corner because I'm not here in the business to hurt anyone. Wow, finally! Yes! Oh, here we go, plenty of room. Thank you very much. Oh, yes! That's what we want! I can get out of a corner, big power, yeah, little wiggle on the rear, and it still lets me move. And the extra regen from track mode means I can actually slow down without having to use the crappy brakes they put in this thing, and use that as like a last minute resort. Now, here's the thing. If I got a Model S Plaid, you know, we're talking Kyle spec here, it would be just like this car, but I would put the biggest, baddest steel brakes I could on this thing. I wouldn't do Tesla's $20,000 carbon upgrade thing, because as hard as I drive a car, I would actually burn up the carbon discs in that thing and would have to spend another $20,000 to replace the rotors every time. So wouldn't do that. I would go whatever Mountain Pass has for brakes, steel brakes, and just swap them out whenever they needed. But that is impressive. Just those 2 corners, and I'm already like, yep, look at that. I'm doing like little, 1 or 2 degree angles on the rear, and it's not cutting power. It's giving me power with turning on, with steering angle in. And get out of the way, slow people. Literally, I just love that a RAV4 is holding up a Forester at 23 miles an hour, which is holding us up, and we could just smoke everyone here. So this is the type of road where a Plaid would always struggle before, because they need to get the torque down coming out of a corner, needed to get the power down. And as I showed you, you mat the throttle with any sort of lock on the wheel and nothing would happen. It's like, wow, my neck almost hurts even after that. I am just so, fascinated, happy, surprised it's this good. Now, should we compare the Model S to a Taycan, to an e-tron GT would be in the category in terms of performance sedans? This feels, from a powertrain standpoint, every bit as stout as a Taycan Turbo S, and honestly more. In the corners, that car and the e-tron are still a little bit more agile, a little bit more grown up, a little bit more, I would say, confidence inspiring in the corners. But this, I bet if you put the right tires on this car, is actually faster, at least around a track, just because the powertrain is insane. And now having a round steering wheel, I have no issues about matting it in a corner, thinking I might have to catch the car. Not scary at all. It's just, now we're just back to big and heavy as being the biggest concerns for this car compared to a Model 3 performance, whereas the steering is now just not even a thought. It's got a little bit slower ratio than a Model 3 or Model Y, which I actually like. This feels like the way it should be. You got to put in some lock to get the car to turn. It's not darty on center. I have some room to move the car. I feel like I can actually work the wheel, which is fun. And I'm just so happy. That's so great. So, okay, big updates here have been track mode. Big updates here. Oh, thanks to the RAV4 for pulling over for us. Appreciate that. It's a RAV4 Prime. That's a rare vehicle. All right, let's see what this Forester's got in front of us. And so really the last thing that this car needs, this particular car, would be wheels and tires and brakes. It's just on the aero wheels with the caps pulled off, if you're wondering. So it's just the stock 19-inch aero wheels and the Pilot Sport 4 All Seasons. I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. And the extra regen is so nice to have. I'm not having to go for the friction brakes, which this car has been on track. It's had the fluid boiled multiple times. Look at this guy crossing over into oncoming traffic for no reason. He's going literally 32 miles an hour. I don't understand what he's even thinking. Big compression here. I hope he's holding the wheel tight in that Forester, because you come down into this corner right on the edge and he's crossing over, cutting the lines. What is with people driving around here? It's so dangerous, because then we'll start flying this way and, risk a head-on situation, which is just so scary to think about. So I always leave a lot of room on public roads. I'm not a proponent of pushing your car on the street. I'm a huge proponent of pushing your car on the track, of course. And, well, there you have it. Now we have a round wheel and a Plaid. I can pull the full Miami, drive like this. This is nice. I could, do the full relax. I can grab anywhere. I can do the shuffle that everyone on my team hates when I do this and when I drive, because I shuffle the wheel around sometimes at low speed. It is the future. The round steering wheel is the future, I'm sorry to say. So that would be the first thing I would do if I got a Plaid. I would need to do a couple things. Wheels and tires. Big brakes first, like brakes are top of mind. And then, yeah, this steering wheel, and I would want whatever Ryan did to code the suspension into doing this thing, so I could just go boom, lowered, or boom, off-road. It's magical. So, what else do you want to know? It just lays rubber. It just left skid marks right there. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Truly love this car. And value for dollar, even at whatever the new pricing that they have this thing at, is just one hell of a steal. One hell of a steal. You can't buy, like, everyone that's into cars, like, I'm sorry, but like, how could you not like this? There's a lot of Tesla haters out there. I don't personally understand it. And you know, I love all the other cars, and I still think if you had this, there's room in the garage for a Taycan. There's room in the garage for XYZ. This isn't the end all be all of cars. It's a great daily that you could like come to a full stop. Let's just, and just freaking hammer. It's amazing. So to summarize my Plaid thoughts now with the round wheel. Well, love that I can come out of corners and just like a little bit of throttle, get some angle on, stuff it right back in. It does everything I want it to do. And what car are you gonna get that the brakes are the big thing. I'm just like to the floor, and that was like, yeah, needs brakes. So loving it all. You don't get a car that has better efficiency for the size. You don't get a car that has this much range, more than you would ever need for most people, and then a great charging network. Although the charging network is starting to get full, not where I live, but out here it's like all the superchargers have like wait times around it. So then you get yourself, one of these bad boys, and you can charge it over 200 kilowatts at an Electrify America station. Don't ask me about that adapter. I've already made a video about it. And no, you can't buy one right now. Yeah, Ryan's got all the cool stuff. And yeah, so we got tripods. It's totally obliterated my suitcase in the back. It's just got it all. And by the way, still looks great. Now the interior doesn't feel as premium. I just got out of a brand new Porsche Cayenne plug-in hybrid that I've been filming with. No, it doesn't feel as premium, but I guess I don't really care so much about that. I just want a car that's easy to live with and has room, and I can throw the dogs in it, and this can do it all. And by the way, it's got dog mode. A car with a track mode and a dog mode. It's like they made a car for Kyle Connor. And it is, yes, feeling good. Needs more rubber. You could hammer this road if you had a bit better tire. Just coming in nicely. And you can just come out of a corner the way it should be, and another person crossing the double yellow line. I'm fine if you're sideways, out of control, stay on your side of the road. There's no need to cross double yellows. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. I'm pumped. See ya. By the way, I just wanted to show you, a lot of people make the argument that the yoke wheel makes it so you can see your dashboard better. Maybe it makes it so you can see the left side of your main screen a little bit better, maybe, but I'm holding it right at my eyes right now. Literally, you are eye level, and I can see everything in here. No problem, never been an issue. That's just BS if you ask me. And yeah, no problem there. The wheel, circular wheel, this is the way to go, I think, after using them both now back to back.